How about now? Is the echo still?
No.
Okay. The the point that I was making was that the resume is designed to get you to the interview. It's designed to pique the curiosity of the recruiter, HR talent manager, hiring manager, so on and so forth. So you don't necessarily need to get into an abundance of detail in the resume. You want to make the strong points. And yeah, it looks like the feedback may be Chinadu and or Jade. Can you guys? Okay. No echo. So did everybody get the point about the resume and what it's used for?
Yes, I get it. I understand.
Perfect. Now, what we'll be discussing later is the sort of next steps. When you get to the point of an offer, we'll discuss that towards the end of interviewing. And this is actually an old slide. We'll get into workplace emotional intelligence a little bit later. That data obviously needs to be updated. Okay. But what I want to do is actually go now to, I'm going to share my screen, and I want to pull up, it will load, an example resume. So right now, you are able to see my screen. Now, are you all able to see the resume on my screen?
No.
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 Hold on. Oh, excuse me. Now, are you able to see it now?
Yes.
Perfect. Thanks. So here's a simple format that we go through. Again, have your name, address, cell mobile number these days,
You able to send
email
this?
address. I will. I'll make sure this gets sent out to everybody. And then here's the LinkedIn profile as we discussed. Again, with the customized link. And then career focus. So this is where you have your elevator pitch, high energy, first year MBA experience in, whether that be marketing, whether that be project management, whether that be academia, you name it. I plan to leverage my background in, and this is a guide, everyone. What we don't want is everybody going to the National Black MBA with kind of the same, words and everything in the profile.
Correct.
But again, this is a guide that's customized to you specifically. But you want to make sure you lay out some of your background. Also, again, the interest, what you want to do, um, and lay out what type of organization you want to be with, whether that's an international conglomerate, whether that's a smaller organization, whether that's a regional player, you name it, but that helps. And if some of you are still looking at maybe two options within your career assessment and you're really struggling about which way to go, you can have one resume customized for one set of opportunities and another resume, for another one. I'm not a big fan of every single time you have an interview or position do a specific resume just for that opportunity. I think that'll drive you all crazy. But if you know, again, you want to be in marketing research, you can have a marketing research resume and then a social media marketing resume. Is that clear?
Yes.
Excellent. So the key strengths and expertise, these are the buzzwords and skills that you would be looking for. And I'll tell you, one of the things that LinkedIn certainly helps you with, there's a trick to the trade. Um, think about who you want to work for, think about what you want to do, and look those people up on LinkedIn. And a lot of times you'll find their profiles, and if you see the skills that they have, well, wow, those are a lot of the skills that are needed within that role and within that industry. And I would try to pick the specific skills. If there's technology or certain buzzwords and that are fitting into that industry sector function area, use those. I mean, especially if those are skills that you have and experiences that you created. And here's the big thing. If you have a list of 10 skills that 4 or 5 individuals whose profiles you review that are doing what you want to do, if you only have 6 of those 10, the other 4 are the skills that you should be trying to build. The other 4 should be the projects that you want to take on in project-based learning. The other 4 would be the type of classes that you want to take when it comes time for your electives. The other 4 would be the things that you want to talk to faculty about and try to help research so you get a chance to build those skills and get knowledgeable in those areas. So by the time you're interviewing for internships in between your first and second year, or by the time you're interviewing for full-time opportunities, you've got all 10 of those skills. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, what aspect didn't make sense?
Can you repeat it one more time?
Sure. So I was talking about key strengths and expertise.
Right.
And essentially those are all skills and buzzwords that are needed within a specific industry and function. So if someone wants to go into capital markets and finance, there'll be certain buzzwords and skills that are needed. If someone wants to go into brand management, it'll be a whole nother list. If someone wants to go into human resources or talent acquisitions, a totally different list. So under your key strengths and expertise, you can figure out what are the big buzzwords by looking at LinkedIn profiles of individuals who are doing what it is that you already want to do. So if you want to work for Under Armour in marketing, you can go into LinkedIn, type in Under Armour marketing, and individuals will pop up. Well, you can look and see who are the marketing analysts there, and you'll see their skills. Well,
Okay.
look at those skills and probably look at about 4 or 5 different profiles and start making a list of what do you see that's common. And if there's 10 skills that are common that you're seeing, you may do a quick self-evaluation. Well, okay, I've got 6 of those 10. I'm confident, but those other 4, I really don't know about. I'm really not all that comfortable with. Well, your job while you're in this program is to figure out how to get those other 4 skill sets. So you're that much more competitive for the opportunity when you're going in to interview for it.
Okay. So basically writing them buzzwords for the position that you are trying to apply for.
Exactly. But I would only list them if they truly are. I would only list them on your resume. Let me clarify. If they truly are skills and expertise that you have.
Okay.
So just because it's a buzzword, and if you have no idea what it is or what it's about, don't put it on there. But I would have a separate list of skills that you want to try to gain. And if you know what you want to gain, then that helps you pick the classes that you want to take, the type of research projects you may want to take on with faculty, the type of project-based learning opportunities that you want to go on and do. All those better prepare you to be the stronger candidate to get the interview, to get the offer. That make sense?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Appreciate the questions. Um, Again, as we talked about earlier, you want to go right into your professional experience. You all are master students now, so it's great that you all are at the Graves School of Business and studying, but you all should all be bringing a certain aspect of real world professional experiences um, to the resume. And what we have laid out here is essentially company name, city, state, how long you've been there, month and year at least. What a lot of students miss is this line of company description, industry revenues, number of companies, geographic. I'm getting some feedback. If someone could just mute, that'd be great. Um, Thank you. So the point is, you want to make sure, especially if you work for high caliber, sort of prestige type organizations, that of course they're listed. But many students I've talked to, maybe international students that have worked with larger organizations that we're not as familiar with in the U.S. When we begin to talk about the description of the company, the industry that they're in, the revenues, and I would do any type of conversion, into U.S. dollars, number of employees, geographic scope, meaning are they regional, national, international. All of those are things that help us understand. We may not know the company name, but then we get a good feel for how large of a group you're working with. And I would do that for each company. Um, Again, listing title, and again 3 to 4 bullets. And I think everybody, I'm kind of going through a resume 201 versus 101. I think everyone knows to start your bullets off with the action words. Certainly don't list the same exact word. You want to use action words such as created, managed, designed. um, there are plenty others responsible for, developed, but each bullet should start in that fashion. Now, if you're in your current assignments, you can use present tense words. In your previous assignments, of course, you use past tense words. But you want to make sure that you're listing, the roles and responsibilities that you have. If you're thinking back on those experiences and you can't really think of much, hopefully maybe you still have an old email or an old job description, and you can go through and use a lot of that, to help at least get a full line, out of these. But I would venture to state, think back to the accomplishments that you had while you were there. I mean, think about this. Anytime that you take on a role, anytime you take on an assignment or a task, you want to leave it better than it was before you got there. You want to make your stamp, leave your mark. And if you begin to think going into every task, every role, every responsibility, every position, if you begin to take that attitude, then you're almost building these resume builders before you even start. If you went into a research project, a grad assistant opportunity, an internship, knowing, well, I want to make sure that I bring in, certain element of cost cutting. I want to drive efficiency by going in and from a project management perspective, laying out this workflow, and and driving almost what you want the resume bullet to be as you're going through it. I think is a very smart strategy for those opportunities that you have had in the past. Be reflective. If you still have old job performance reviews or anything like that, go back through them and make sure to the best you can that you're using data and numbers, and you're really laying out, again, the roles and responsibilities that you had, the key roles and responsibilities that you had, and the quantifiable accomplishments. And I would think that at least one quantifiable bullet for every experience that you're listing under your professional experiences is not a tall order. If you can do two or three, that's even better. Um, and I would certainly list the accomplishment and the big bullet first. When individuals are reviewing your resume, they're going to look probably 6 to 10 seconds. They're going to essentially look in, see a couple of the buzzwords around key strengths and experience. They're going to get a decent feel around your career focus. They're going to look at the company that you work for. They're going to look at the title that you had, maybe get through one or two bullets. So you don't want to have filler bullets or bullets too general. You want to make sure that the first bullet that you have is the one that you're most proud of and the one that you think relates to that position and what can help you add value to that organization. Does that make sense? And well, I'm not able to see the questions because I've got my screen up. Chinedo, are you able to see any of the questions? Can't hear you.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. What are they?
So give me a second.
No, take your time. As you're going through and pulling that up, I mentioned earlier sections around awards and recognition, extracurricular or volunteer experience. So I definitely think, especially if you don't necessarily have 5, 10 years of strong professional experience, but you've done extracurricular things, captain of the football team, president of the school's finance club, anything like that, you could certainly highlight that. Volunteering, through fraternities, sororities, community organizations, to get you to that full page. If you need that, certainly extracurricular and or volunteer experience is a great way to lay things out. You would lay it out exactly the way you would professional experience, and in a lot of cases, those things can help you network. Those things can help you show the transferable skills and skills that you've built to help in organizations. Again, we've listed the education piece. Here, it would again be MBA, Grave School of Business, Morgan State University, expected year of graduation, GPA, and then whichever other, if you have other masters or doctorate degrees to list, other bachelors for your undergrad. And then again, when it comes to awards and recognition, you could simply list what they are. I would also back them up with a year. And also with the extracurricular experience, similar to the full-time working, you would want to list the organization description, so individuals understood what that organization was about and the impact that it makes, and then what you did in growing that impact. But Sinead, do you have the questions?
Yeah, there actually aren't any questions at the moment.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Sure.
Now we're about 10 minutes before the session is over, and as I talked about, I will get this particular file out to everybody in the course. If you'd like to, you can use this as a template and a format in revising your resume. If you like the template that you have, again, I'm not mandating that this be the format exactly, but I do think that this is the best approach in moving forward with where the vast majority of you are with your work experience. If you've got any questions or thoughts offline, feel free to reach out. And Chinedo, can you take us through the exact email where questions for the class should be going and where assignments should be emailed?
Yeah. Okay. Well, basically, all the assignments should be mailed to gravesmasters at morgan.edu. That's gravesmasters at morgan.edu. That's actually where all the correspondence is going to be taking place. So that's really the only email.
So everybody should be able to see my screen, I believe. And if you see the highlighted area there, Graves Masters at morgan.edu is exactly where questions should come regarding the course, as well as assignments should be sent over and posted. So by noon on Friday, we should have everybody's resume, and you'll receive this template from Graves Masters programs, if not this evening, certainly in the morning. Now, those of you who completed assignment 2, the company criteria list, will be working tomorrow on going through and getting the list, taking your responses, and then turning over the list of the 10 to 15 companies to you. So each of you be on the lookout for a email tomorrow afternoon from Graves Masters Program with a screenshot and contact details for the companies that fit your list. If we have any questions about your responses, we'll also be emailing you from the Graves Masters email. And we still have about 5 minutes left before 7. I want to respect everybody's time, but I want to make sure everyone's clear on what we went over today. If there are any other resume questions, I want to make sure everyone is clear on assignment number 1 and assignment number 2. And then lastly, making sure everyone's understands the due date and assignment for sending over your resume and the resume assignment.
So the resume is set on Wednesday, which is today. Is that when it's due, or that's just what the assignment is for that week?
So that's due this week. So you get the template first thing in the morning by class on Friday at Friday. Then that
Can you repeat it? The computer was
will
going in and out.
your resume to be sent to the Graves Masters address.
It went in and out. Are you speaking?
Does that clarify?
No, it went out. It went out. Like you were talking and then it went out.
Oh, I apologize. I can that echo from me?
It's the echo.
Yeah, there's an echo.
Okay, can you turn your mic off? Or mute?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is that echo coming from you and not being muted, or?
It actually stopped.
Okay. So nonetheless, to answer your question, the resume will be due on Friday at noon by the time session number 4 starts. So you'll get the template this evening, first thing in the morning, and you'll have to send over by the time class starts at noon on Friday to Graves Masters your updated resume. Did that clarify?
Yes.
Excellent.
Mr. Fletcher,
Yes.
there's a question that was asked here. It says, will we get a chance to revise our resume more than once if needed throughout the course?
Great question, and the answer is yes. So I will provide feedback on the resumes, so it's fully expected that there'll be at least 2 revisions, the one that you start with now in comparing your current resume to the template, and then you'll get feedback from me by next Wednesday, and then your resume would simply build from there. And I am more than willing to give additional feedback if you'd like beyond the feedback from the initial session. Any other questions? Perfect. Well, if other questions come up, again, I would reach out via gravesmasters@morgan.edu. I certainly look forward and excited to see the 10 to 15 companies that emerge from each of your turning in assignments 1 and 2 and sharing them with you via email over the next 24 to 36 hours. Certainly, if other questions come up around Resume, you all know exactly how to find me. And thanks for your continued participation in the Summer 2017 Professional Development course.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. Have a great evening, everyone.